Hello and welcome. My name is Greg Willis and I'll be speaking with experts from around the world of martial arts to explore their history, their personal motivations and what the future has in store. A bit about me. I'm appointed Chief Instructor and Head of the International Academy of WingChun here in the UK. My background includes Taekwondo, WingChun, Escrima and Combat training. My guest today is, in my opinion, one of the most professional and highly skilled martial artists in the world. His dedication, passion and leadership is exceptional. Over the last 5 decades, he has devoted himself to martial arts and has completely revolutionized the classical WingChun and Escrima martial arts systems, creating his own unique and formidable fighting art, the International Academy of WingChun. He has also created a completely new, modernized self-defense system, focusing on the ultimate applications combining WingChun, Escrima weapons fighting, and close combat systems. This is named S.A.T, Special Applications Training. I'm very excited to be joined today by Grandmaster Sifu Klaus Brand. Hi Sifu, thank you for joining us and speaking to the viewers.
Thank you for your invitation.
No worries. Let's dive straight into it. So on this first episode, we would like to speak about what the path is to become a Grandmaster actually. So what it means, if you can try and encapsulate what the dedication, what the sleepless nights, what the burden was, what the responsibility is of being a Grandmaster, how your influences growing up and your extensive military background influenced your journey to becoming a Grandmaster.
Yeah, it's a lot to say. Let's make it short as possible. The first was actually my father. That was my hero in the time when I was young, because he trained so much and he was a very sportive guy. He was a sportive guy in the past, did in some boxing and ended in judo, and was a trainer for the first league. And I saw him always walking on his hands up the stairs in our house and down, on his hands. And he was great. He was a sportive guy, and I was always looking at him, up to him, and want to do the same way. So that was actually a good thing. The bad thing was he forced me always to do more than I wanted when I was young. And so I said, oh no, I want to go with my friends. No, you have to train, you have to do this, you have to do that. And like all the kids think I have the worst father of the world.
I do the same with my 2 daughters. I force them into training.
Yeah. Yeah, they always think you are the worst of all, So of course, very late I found out that he was right, because when you are a kid, you would do you would find the wrong friends, you would find the wrong way to go, and there are parents for to take care about the kids, and even if the kids hate this, they have to stop them of some mistakes. And my father did. I would do wrong things, of course, and I did a lot of wrong things, but not too much. And so later on, maybe I would say 25 to 30 years later, I realized always more how good he was. And so always I bought him a whiskey and say, Father, that was great, actually, what he did with me, because without you, I would not be Grandmaster. And you know what, you asked me before to become a Grandmaster. I think it is not a plan. It is not that I want to become a Grandmaster. It's a way. It's just your way. You go this way and suddenly you are. Okay, it's not suddenly, but it is not a plan behind it. When I started martial arts, I was dedicated to martial arts. Later, I annoyed my father by doing some boxing, because he wants that I do judo. That I went to boxing and I did some boxing. I wanted to try something and try out some jiu-jitsu boxing. But my father did jiu-jitsu as well, so it was okay for him. So then I started the army, 1985. I started at the army, and the army time developed me a lot. You know that if you want to stay at the army, and I wanted at this time to become a professional soldier, first for years and later with the government. So I did my best, and that was actually my lifetime always started like the problem what I had is I was a perfectionist all the time. So I actually always thought I'm not good enough, not good enough of doing this,
Mm.
not good enough, not good enough. So I trained actually more even at the army. I learned so much in the evening because I want to become the best, you know. So it's always it was always my way, and it burdened me a bit even nowadays. You know, now since this crazy time, we call it this crazy time, the last 2.5 years,
Yeah.
I took the time to develop actually the system in a new way. So I'm sure I could improve it 100%. Uh, I want to develop a strike which is almost not defendable or with a lot
Okay.
of hurt, you know,
Yeah.
so with a lot of problems. So I think I did it even better now. So this is actually my way. So I train actually every day, mentally or physically. I sometimes have 2 or 3, not 2 days, 2 days maximum in a week where I'm not physically trained. When I'm
Mm.
not physically trained, I train mentally. I think about it. I put notes and try to improve things, techniques.
Mm.
And our system is about attacking. So I want to have or do the best attack ever, you know. So this is what I improve. But you let's go back in time about the start of Wing Chun. When I started Wing Chun '88,
Okay.
I started in Germany, and I actually get paid from the army to study. But it was it in it was Berlin, the administration of everything, and they actually wanted to forbid me to study martial art at this time. And in Germany, in Heidelberg, you could study martial art and say, okay, it's a free decision. And so I fought a bit with the government actually until they set me free to study Wing Chun. So my study was Wing Chun actually in this time.
Mm.
When I left the army, it was '94.
And that was your choice to go in and study Wing Chun. You've seen it somewhere, or how did you find out about Wing Chun?
Uh, Actually, I saw some guys when it was years back. I saw some guys training something somewhere
Right.
at a field, and I asked them, "What the hell is this?" I never saw. What are you doing? They do some free of hands, and it looked interesting, and they did it pretty well. And so I asked them, "What is that?" And they say Wing Chun. And later, I was at the army. I said, actually, I do not know if I ever told you this story. I sat with a guy. We had a we had a seminar at the army. I met him, and he said, "Oh, you come from my hometown. I remember your face." And I knew this guy from my past, but I never spoke to him. And we sat together at a pub. We drink something, and before we go back to the uh, to our place, to our base. And so suddenly some start a fight with him, some whatever, throw something in his drink. I guess it was a cigarette or something. And he did one strike, just one strike, and this guy fall down from the bar seat. Almost could not breathe. And he said, "Come, let's go, let's go." And I asked him, what the hell did you do?" I said, you know, I trained some Wing Chun. I'm a 12 student level, was it in this time? 12 student level. I
Okay.
trained it since whatever, 6 or 7 years. I said, what is that? And he started very, very early. When Wing Chun came to Germany, and he actually never trained farther afterwards. He just did his army thing, and I saw him never again.
Right.
But that was actually it impressed me. It impressed me. It was just one strike, a strike to the throat, and I thought, wow, it's cool, you know, to end the
Mm.
fight just with one strike. No big fight, no big deal. He was a small guy actually, not very powerful or whatever, but very aggressive. It was an aggressive person, and he just did it. He just did it, and no thinking, just 1 second, and pam, end of the fight. Beginning of the fight was the end of the fight, and I liked this because I always thought how to make it easier, how to not fight too long, because the most martial arts are developed to fight, to have your pleasure during the fight. And actually, in the very past, a fight they fought because they want to win, and win means end the fight as soon as possible. And ending a fight is actually, when we go back in the past, was killing your enemy. That ends the fight, So
Yeah.
and the martial arts are not developed to kill; that they are developed to fight because they have pleasure during the fight. They like to fight. And always, when I was young, I asked my father a lot of questions about it. And then I saw this, and immediately, this is what I'm searching for. I want to end the fight. The fight, of course, it's fun when you're a child. You need martial arts to have fun by fighting, like little animals, little tigers. They fight because of fun. But later, when they are adults, huge lions or tigers or whatever, they fight to survive or to fight to eat. It means they have to kill their enemy. But the game in the beginning was just the game. It was just to learn it. And so I difference these things, I want to fight like in the past. I want to teach people how to fight real, how to win a fight, not to have pleasure to fight. Of course, we have fun to learn the attack, to learn the defense, but we never learn to have pleasure to fight. Never.
And
ever.
so has your army experience then helped you develop the formidable system that you've created? I guess all the training throughout your army years has really played a big part in the foundation of your actual meaning, like you say, of this really aggressive style to fight and survive. And some of that must have come from the army training. The mental aspects.
The mental aspects for sure, because I became a teacher at the army school, and during this time, I went to a seminar for single fighter program. This kind of how do you call this single fighter, lone fighter, ranger, however, so you fight alone in the enemy's land, and have to bring your own people out, or you destroy something or whatever. It's like a terrorist education. Actually, you become a terrorist, and you need a lot of discipline to go through it, because only some end this seminar positively.
It's quite a special unit
with a button, with a button, and I still have these buttons, and even in my office, I have this button on the wall, because it took a lot of conviction, by myself, to convince myself, okay, come on, it hurts, it is strange, you have nothing to eat, you have no power anymore, but go to it. Something will help you. Something will help you. We have this realm of how do you call this? The stones and the minerals. Let's say the realm of minerals. Do you call it like this?
Yeah.
And the realm of living organs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is different. One is explained with physics, and the other one is explained with biology. But the realm of minerals can never live, and we can never become a mineral, but we live with minerals. So actually, it's a connection together. It's something where the roots are going down from a tree to the earth to take the minerals to live, but the minerals are not living by itself. And so our thoughts are almost like the roots up to the universal energy, so we can do the same with the universal energy. And I felt in this time that I get some energy from somewhere, even if I have less to drink or to eat. So somewhere is coming, my energy is filling up from somewhere, from trees or whatever, so it sounds a bit strange, but we have more energy than we think. And if people struggle with life, they can reach a strength they never reach if they are satisfied.
If you have to really dig deep.
yeah,
Deeper than you've ever dug before. Yeah.
yeah. And this is what I found out during this single fighter program, that you are able to do more than you think, and you have a power inside. And then I've always was on the way to find a switch, to switch on this power when I need it. And you asked me because the long time, when I trained this the Wing Chun as in the academy, I trained 8 hours a day, and in the evening I have 4 times a week. I had 2 hours to train my students in the school. So this is 48 hours. Let's say we have 2 hours seminars. We have 50 hours and 200 a month. It's 2,400 hours a year. If you are a regular student, you have maybe, let's say, 200 to 240 hours a year. So it's
Completely.
actually tens of time of training, complete, yeah. With evening training twice a week, 2 hours training, and maybe some seminars, you come up to maybe really 240 hours a year maximum as a good student. But 240 to 2,400 is a tenth of this. So if you train in this way 1 year, another one have to train 10 years to reach the same. And this is hard to understand. This is a lot. If I train 2 years, it's 20 years for someone else. And so I did this program actually for some years, 3 to 4 years.
Wow.
And it was hard. And the case is that you even do more. In the nights, I woke up and I trained forms because I was not satisfied during the day with my form. I did a mistake, so I could not sleep well. So I had to finish this well, and then I went back to sleep. And of course, it cost you time, relationships,
Yeah.
money, because of course you have less time to make money, but you spend more money because of your hobby. It was, I can say, a very, very hard time, but this time brought me to the point to say to myself, I mean, it has a lot of little reasons as well. I don't know if you ever read the book Five Rings from Miyamoto Musashi, samurai.
Okay.
All this during this time, I wrote a lot of books, and this was one book I said, "Wow, yeah." He speak about when the system changed to satisfy every person, it becomes a weak system. It's the same like me. When I would have taught what the people like, it would be much easier to develop a huge organization. But I taught the people what they need. That means not many people like me. You know what I mean? I teach the people what they need. That means I create conflicts, or they create conflicts because they realize what they have to do. And for this reason, a lot of students left me because it was too much. I expected too much in the eyes of them. I actually expect nothing. I just do what I do. And my expectation, if you have expectations, you always, it never leads you to satisfaction. If you have no expectations, it's much better because everything what you see, you can handle immediately. So better to live with not too much expectations, but desires, dreams, visions. It's much more interesting than expectations. And so this is how systems grow. Sometimes I wonder that systems are growing by just satisfying people, because the system like Wing Chun, when you look at internet, it became a weak, senseless system. When I look at the internet, what it became, so I realized, okay, this is over. That's it.
And do you think that is because of the purpose of the instructor teaching it was a business reason rather than a hobby and a passion to make money?
Maybe not. When you do something very good and you're a professional, you you earn money with. If you're a painter or a good actor or whatever, I mean, every actor makes money by acting. Every good martial art makes money because of he is dedicated. He was dedicated in it. He became a professional guy. When I look at soccer, the soccer players in Germany, what they make for, they are just good. Millions of people can play soccer, but some are very good, and this some makes a lot of money. Why not? So I guess this is not the problem, not the main problem, but maybe some saw that you can make money with it and want to become an instructor, and so even the whatever not that good guys became instructors, developed not that good guys, and they want to become an instructor, and so maybe we have now 80% of not good instructors around the world. I would say in the WingChun system we are even more. We are even more than 90% of whatever rubbish. Just satisfying themselves, not really bringing the people or their students the truth. It is just because they like it. It's not bad, it's just they like it, they love it. Just they are not good, but they love it. And who can say you're not good enough to them if they have no teacher anymore? It's like you play your own soccer game, you run and you call yourself a first league player, but there is no one who is playing with you, so you never know. Yeah, this is one problem, I guess, but not the main problem. It becomes a money. I mean, if you are a good instructor, of course, you have to take some money for it. You have to make a deal, you give them something, they give you something. Otherwise, it is no worth behind it. And what you teach, if you are good, have a higher worth than they pay ever in a monthly contract. So they pay you some bucks, but what they get is much, much more. It's actually not payable, really. So, and it takes a lot of time. When I taught around the world, and I went to US or I went to England. What I earned was what I net for the flight and for the hotel. So the main thing what I earned was actually in Germany, because I did not need a hotel and a flight. So I actually did it because I liked it, because I liked to spread it, to bring it to the people, my knowledge, my Wing Chun. And when I found out that the Wing Chun went this crazy way, so I sat down and I developed this S.A.T, which is actually the source of everything. It is my Wing Chun, it is my combat, what I developed later on, and it is the Escrima. It's a mix of everything, but just the application of everything without traditional parts like forms. But the other thing is, during a S.A.T training, you even could do some parts of form. You even could do some chi, so because it's fun, it's interesting. But it's not the main thing. You can train everything, but not in a way of preparing for degree. It is just because it's good to know. It's good to know this, it's good to know that, it's good to combine this with that. Not because you need it for a degree. And so what we not have is this run behind the degree. When I was at seminars, I always heard this question: what do you think? Am I ready for the next degree? Or they reach the 7th student level at the next training, I go in for 8. What means that? I'm going for 8. That means you learn what you need for 8. But do you remember what you learned, what you net for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Or are you sure you can connect this together? Are you sure you did improve when you reached your 7th level? Are you better than when you're 6th student level? And all these questions we don't have in S.A.T, because no one say, I want to become, or how much does it take to become a 3rd technician? This question when some start new, how long do I need to become a master? Not the first step, not the first movement, but how long does it
more about their progression and attaining a badge or a belt or something, rather than applying what they've learned if the time comes when it's necessary.
I mean, it is not every guy like this. Every person, we are not the same. So some just take the degree if the degree comes, but the most like the degree, which is not bad, but better we don't have it. So we don't have this problem anymore. And that was the main reason to develop S.A.T, because of the decaying WingChun. It's really what it is not interesting anymore. I mean, if I would have seen WingChun like it is now, I would never ask someone if he can show me something, or I would not want to learn it. When I see it on internet, I ask myself, how can people think this is nice to push and pull and speak about whatever yielding, and you need no power, blah blah blah. You know, to fight you need lots of power. Can you imagine? We have worldwide in England, in Germany, we have bare knuckle fights. People who are really whenever free upper body and fight bare knuckle. Can you imagine how strong they are? How strong they became to, or how much confidence they need to go and fight without protection. And if some think, I don't need muscles, I don't need power, I don't need, I yield, I take the power and bring it back to my enemy. You know, you need power. You know, I train every day, power training. I mean, every day, for sometimes for an hour, sometimes only for 10 minutes, but every single day I make push-ups, pull-ups, or something else to train my muscles to be ready, because the muscles have to be strong. We don't need to have a physique like Arnold or whatever. We don't need this, of course. We need just functional muscles, but functional muscles are strong muscles. It's not big muscles or huge muscles. It's not like this. But you need to train to be strong. You need to train to be strong. I will sit down sometimes and make a little, like I did with the techniques, to explain the techniques. I will explain sometimes what to train, how to train your muscles functionally, not just big, functionally, because we need a functional muscle system. And these dreams to fight without power, and the weaker you are, the better it is, and all these things, it is not right. And with the S.A.T, we can bring back the truth. We can even do some functional muscle training during S.A.T, for example.
Right.
Without weights, just with our body weight. But it's cool. It's cool. We can do this. And S.A.T is the how do you say, if everything comes together? It is the how do you say it? It's like you bring everything to one point.
Everything is collated together. Yeah.
Escalated?
One unit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's much better to not separate it. To say, okay, this is Escrima, I have to move this way because I have a stick in my hand, or it is combat, now it's only combat, I cannot do this because it's not allowed. Everything is allowed every time. And to move a body in the right way is one thing. It is to survive. And in Escrima, we have some very important movements. Actually, no one should miss Escrima, because Escrima has movements we don't have in WingChun. In the combat training, you have movements we don't have in the traditional WingChun way. And in WingChun, we have movements we don't have in Escrima. It's a pity, actually, because it's a lack. It's a lack. You miss it if you don't know it. It's how to stand, how to go, how to move. It's so important to know how to stand and how to bring your power from your stance, from your complete muscle system into one single point, maybe the knuckles of your fist or your forearm. And this is mainly what we need to bring the muscles, or to bring the power into our forearm or our fist. This is mainly what we need in all systems, WingChun or Escrima or combat.
And so we've spoken about the dedication that's required to become a grandmaster. It's not a plan, as you say. You didn't set out at a young age to become a grandmaster. Some maybe do, but normally you become on the way to becoming a grandmaster, it's realized. So would you say then it's also the responsibility of a grandmaster to evolve the system that they're in, and not to keep it as a 300, 400, 500-year-old system exactly as it was trained?
I mean, the first is what you have to know is a grandmaster have his system. It is a system of this grandmaster. Grandmaster cannot just. I mean, if you are a grandmaster for a long time and you have helpers, and these helpers are grandmaster as well, could be possible as whatever a group of grandmasters, you spread a system. But if you have another organization, if you are in another organization and you are a grandmaster, of course, your system cannot be the same system like another system or the system you learned. It should be another thing. And my way was to, because of a lot of conversations with my grandmaster Lenting this time, I started in Germany under Kernspech. Until he went away, I did not understand anymore a way which is leading people to start Wing Chun. They never would start martial art in their whole life. They started because it was not. They don't need effort. They don't need effort. They just train some things and they get a degree. And then I realized that it is not my way anymore. And I met Grandmaster Lenting in San Francisco, and this time so we spoke a lot. And then I realized how much the system changed. And we spoke about the past, what was the system in the past. And so I studied some of the Chinese characters to actually find out what the technique means. And I changed a lot, and that was the hardest time of my life, I would say. That was some years up to 2003. I would say it starts 98, 99 up to 2003 was the most interesting time of my life, because I developed a completely new system by cutting everything in parts and put it together again, renew. So every technique, every section what I taught was just my new section, my new technique. And so I developed a completely new system in with the idea that would be an improvement of the past. You know, some say, for example, in the past they did this. Of course, the past is the past. We need an improvement. We need a development. And I wanted to do it better, because I know what they did. I know what I wanted to reach, and I went my way. And it was hard, because the first 1 or 2 years I tried a lot. So I had to try, and some techniques were not good, and some were good. And then I have to select and put the good ones together, and develop the complete system from technique to technique, defending and attacking technique, new. And the next step was the sections. That was a hard step, because the sections should be a complete explanation of what technique you learn, how to use it, and how to defend it in the same way. But both are very important, not just defending it, using the technique. And if you learn the technique and you learn it in the perfect way, and you would have to defend yourself with your technique, it would be almost impossible to defend it. That is what I mean. And so you have to develop an absolute accurate defending system. And defending is not yielding and taking the power of your opponent. You have to stop something. You have to block it. Let's say block it. Blocks and attacks. Because our defense is actually an attack against the attack, which is a block. You have to stop it, completely stop it. And not just stop it, and not just stop it, bring the opponent in a position he have a problem. You know, if you just would stop it, he could develop something new. but you have even to interrupt this
idea, this future
idea, yeah. So, and that was the hardest time. I would say the first 2 years were pretty hard because you sit down and sometimes you cannot sleep for weeks, because you are with a technique, like a defending technique, and I think, okay, this is not right. The angle is not right. This is not right. That is not right. And luckily, I had a lot of very, very good technicians, and I always forced them to attack me real, So, no, I'm not nice because I'm your trainer. Attack me how fast you can and how strong you can, because I wanted to find out if it works or not. And so I could find out a lot in this time. And I'm very happy that I had these guys in this time. Some guys went some other ways. They stopped training or whatever. I don't know what happens in all this in all these years, but luckily we have some guys. One guy, especially Sifu Ralph, he followed me since the first time. But we was a team of 10 to 15 really good technicians in US, in Germany, and we had a good time for this development. We had a good time to. They were ready to change things. When I came over and said, okay, guys, we had to stop this. We have to do it in this way. Okay. They just said, okay, because development is not, I like to do this because I did it all the time. Development is, I agree that I have to change if it is better. And
it's that will and the open mind, right? A lot say they want to come along, try it out, and to change what they've done in the past, but it's difficult to let go what you've already learned. So,
but it's so nice if you can just follow your teacher and his improvement. You can say, okay, he learned something new now. He found something out. Let's follow. It's cool. And if you realize it works and it is better, I mean, no question.
We were exactly the same, Sifu. You remember in 2006? I remember the first seminar you came over when we switched from the EWTO and under Kernspec at that time. And me personally has been training for 5-6 years and was going for my first technician, leading up to the first technician. Invited to hold a seminar. You absolutely blew us away, and without a shadow of a doubt, we 100% said, okay, we're going to forget everything we've learned, and we're going to start from the first student, how to punch. This is exactly how we need to restart everything we've learned, which was really hard, but it had to be done to learn it properly from the first lesson.
Yeah, you're right. And, I had a lot of respect all the time when I came and did some seminars with new guys I never saw before. And I knew they did some WT or whatever for 6 or 7 or 8 years. Of course, it was hard for me to say, this is not good enough, So, but I respect them because they stood in front of me. They were ready to learn something new, and they were ready to change. So it was a respect from me to them, from them to me. Perfect. Was an energy in the room, So, and I could just teach it what I know. And I mean, like you say, if you find out this is better, what do you want to say? I like it more in the other way, even if it is not better. I like it more, or it is more comfortable, or it's easier, or I mean, nothing is easy, especially if you want to become the best of the best. And we had a WingChun which was extremely good, but we had not the mass of the students to say, okay, why do they not like this extremely good system? And the reason was exactly what we spoke about. It is more comfortable to do what you know, to stay with what you know, to not create a conflict with yourself, and have to tell it to your students as well. You have to go to your students back and say, okay, guys, I learned something else. It is completely different to what we did, but it is cool. So of course, the half of you shouldn't leave you and say, okay, this guy is crazy. I don't start from the scratch. Let them do it, whatever. I leave. And even I had this problem, that people leave and went back to whatever WT because it's more comfortable. They got a degree or they became Sifu.
Yeah, and
because
I don't know
because of
how
the years.
yeah, it takes a lot to deal with that. Just as an instructor, coming from me and my experience as an instructor, where students, you put a lot of time into students and they leave at various stages of their career, their progression, their martial art journey. And to have that on a grandmaster scale is, yeah, that's a lot of disappointment as well, right? But it's something you have to deal with and not take it personally, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, it sounds maybe a bit egoistic, but the first you do it for yourself. The last 2.5 years I did not teach very much. Actually, did not teach, but I trained a lot to improve the system. So I did it for me, in primary for me. And of course, if some want to know it, they can know it. You know what I you cannot imagine how many notes I did in the last 2.5 years about every technique and how to improve it. How could I improve it? And I found out some physical things about the body, new things what I did not think about before. Uh, how to make something extremely strong. But I even found out that we need even a particular power training to improve, not just the technique. We need some to train some muscles to have to create a high function of the combining muscles with each other together.
Right.
Mainly the, of course, triceps, shoulder. I mean, we can even start with the legs and the stand and the upper leg muscles. We need to combine the muscles to perfect system, like a machine, like a cyborg almost, with no mistakes. And if your muscles are functional, you you have less mistakes, of course, because you don't think about it anymore. And I tried to train by myself um, a muscle training. I combined a muscle training and a functional training. I did not train forms very much. I did train single techniques, just this stand or that stand combining with this or that attack.
Okay.
Very, very interesting, and it fits more to what I teach, what I want to teach now, which is the S.A.T, because it's really an application program. I mean, all of the WingChun guys, they like, of course, the sections because it's a very cool training. I like it as well. No way. I can never say I don't like it anymore. But the primary thing what we have to train is applications
Yeah.
and repeating. It's more if you repeat 100 times in the evening class, for example, an attack and a defense, the same attack, same defense. I strike you 50 times, you make a defense. You strike me, I do the same. It's more worth than we train a section 20 times
Mm.
because it's more focus on a single movement. It sounds like it would take more time, but I'm sure if you have a primary and secondary, tertiary system, like what is the most important, what is secondary important, and then you can train the most important things the most, and the less
Mhm.
important things the less. And like we always speak about, the most important things are what you learn in the first 2 years in Wing Chun, the first student levels. This is
Mhm.
the best of forever. The first, I mean, the first strike. We have a lot of different strikes in our forms. You know how many strikes we have. It is so great. What we have in the strikes, what we have are great. The the primary defenses, let's say maybe 5 defense, like high, low, middle. Uh, these are the most important to train, and these are the most important to repeat. It sounds
Mhm.
boring. Maybe it is. Maybe it is boring during the training year, but as it begins to become boring, then you do it automatically. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If you
It's
repeat it, oh man,
subconscious.
I do the
Yeah.
same, and I punch you, you do always the same. After the 20th or 30th time, you don't think about it anymore. You just do it, and then you become good
Mm.
because of the repetition.
Mm.
And this is the problem what we have when we do too much, when you train too much sections. It's a repetition of a lot of things, but not a selection of things. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's good. It's a good body training. It's a good reaction training. But I think the how we train the S.A.T, the applications, it's much better. It's completely other training. It's
Mm.
repeating, repeating, repeating to become good. And if we do this, if you could repeat in 2/3 of the time, the most important things we have 1/3 for fun. You know, 2/3 of the training is repeating, repeating, really
Mm.
always repeating the same thing until it becomes boring. And then if you see, okay, now it changed a bit, the mood changed, you can do some fun things at the end, which
Mm.
are not unimportant, which are just not that important to know. But
Mm.
it's fun, and fun is important too.
Excellent. I mean, for me and all of my students and every single one of your students, we're absolutely lucky to have you as a dedicated, professional, driven grandmaster who has, as we've just discussed, throughout the years, continued to evolve and create new things and new ways of training, and even whole new systems, even whole new divisions of Wing Chun, and most recently S.A.T. So, and I guess that's the last bit of the last piece of a grandmaster's role is to continue forever to evolve and be immersed in that world. It's part of you, right?
Yeah, but not only the grandmaster have to continue the whole life, even the student. You know, it's not important if you're a grandmaster, master, or technician or student level. Important is that you are ready to continue and not stop. Um, what you become, you know, if it is a master or something else, this is not that important actually. For me, it's not important to be grandmaster. I am what I am. I
Mm.
became, but it is not, you know, it is not that important. Important is that my love for the system. This, you know, for me, it's all I have. This is me. This is me. Every technique, what I am, what I what I think or can think about, it's me. And for the student, the same. Every technique, what he knows, what he can think about it, what he is good in, it's him. So you can hold this your whole life, and you can always improve what you know, even if you don't know more or you learn more. If you take it, and so actually, we all, not just me as a grandmaster, we never should stop training. We never
Mm.
should stop. We can stop for a month or whatever. You know, even the students, if they are sick or they have some problems at home or what, it's okay. You know, to stop for some times, but we should continue all the time. It is a
Mm.
non-stop thing. If you are really a martial artist and you are dedicated in a martial art, and you know S.A.T and WingChun is the same at the end. It is just adding the Escrima and the Combat, but actually it's the same. It's absolutely the same. We continue, and what I did now is not develop new techniques. I developed the techniques to do it stronger, faster, unbreakable, unstoppable. And if you have an unstoppable attack and an unbreakable defense, I mean, this is, you don't need to know all of the system. You need to know the primary things, and you have to become good in the primary things. Everything else, you can add some fun technique, or you know, even I have techniques in the system. I would say I'm not sure if I would use it in a real situation, but I love it to train. I know what I need in a real situation, but some things I just love to train, and maybe I use it sometimes because the situation allows me to do this. But some are very abstract,
And like
some
you say,
three
some
or
are
four
maybe
techniques.
secondary or third or fourth options.
Yeah, it is the second or third option. I would not take I would not train too much the fourth option. I mean, why should I do this? I do the primary and secondary option. I train the most, but some options, even if they are the fourth option, it's very much fun to train it, and so I do it. And in maybe some situations, and even this actually, we should teach our students about the situation. A situation like this would allow you to do that. They should realize that this situation could happen, but in the most fights, we have always the same thing. In the most fights, I mean, for 80%, the strike is the same and the defense is the same. I spoke to you sometimes, and I taught to you that I think I said to you that I need three defenses, right? For the high, the middle, and the low.
Yeah.
Then I would have only these three defenses for the high, the middle, and the low, what we talked about. And let's say even three attacks, three different strikes. We have a lot, but three different strikes. That will be enough. That will be enough to win 85% of the fights. If you are really good in this. And this, when I wrote this book from Miyamoto Musashi, The Five Rings, from this samurai who spoke about these fantasy movements and the true movements, and he always repeated the same strike, and he won all the fights. Why should he change the strike?
Yeah.
He survived all the time. What should drive him to change it? And this is the question what we should ask us. Why you want to learn this? And the students always think, when I am a master, I know the Mokyan Sang, I know the beauty, and then I'm better. Because of what? Does it mean you understand the past better? I doubt. I'm not sure about it. It could be, could not be. And nowadays there's so many technicians, and I'm pretty sure they don't know what the sense or the source or the internal thing is, what they really should know.
They know the form, they know the section.
Yeah, and it could even look good.
They actually understand it.
But the thing is, how do you look in a fight? How do you look when you have a fight? How do you feel? How do you think? And this is what we have to train as well. This is what I think about a lot, about our thoughts. I did tell it to you about the connection to the universal energy. We are able to do a lot if we think right. And I taught so many people, and our most dangerous thought is fear. For example, the most dangerous thought what you can have in your life is fear. Fear about sickness, fear about the flu. I'm happy when I have a flu because my system is getting stronger. I say, come on, let's fight. Let's see who wins. Come on to me, take me. And then, of course, I'm getting stronger after this fight. But when I try to avoid, try to run away, when I have fear, some will catch me. When I fear about sickness, I'm getting sick. When I fear about losing a fight, I lose the fight. When I think I'm too weak, I'm too weak. This is always the same. Our thought is so important. And even this is what we have to train to our students. I thought a lot about it, and I will do more theory in the future, because we have to learn to think, to develop our life in a right way. Our thoughts are extremely dangerous. They are little cores, which are becoming a tree sometimes. And it's important what kind of course you plant to become the right tree, the right way. And we have to plant it right in the beginning of the system, or later even stronger. And never ever we can stop about thinking. Never ever we can stop about it. And this is what I found out a lot, even with friends who went the wrong way. It's because of thinking, wrong thinking. And this is the same like someone offer you, here is a Sifu title if you do my system. If the system rubby or not, or some said to you, come on, I give you the first technician in 2 years. How can someone promise you to give you a second technician or a third technician in 2 years when you start? How can he promise that you know what he wants to teach? How stupid is that? And so, of course, if someone asks me how long does it take to become a master, I say, that is no question. Actually, it is not important. Important is to start and to do and to repeat. It is not important what degree you have. It is important how you think about your degree, how you think about yourself, how you are convinced, how much you are convinced about your technique. And we can improve our technique by thinking the right way. Just thinking.
The mental aspect so important, isn't it? The mental aspect, that's straight.
I saw it now, especially during the last 2.5 years, how important it is, the mental aspect. Fear about sickness, and you see what happens. How many are jumping around and having fear the whole day. Of course, the sickness will catch them because they think about sickness all the time, and your conscience is feeding the subconscious. The subconscious in our solar plexus, our really the subconscious energy is in the middle of our body, the subconscious, and we feed with our conscious, with our what we think, we feed it all the time, and he just understands that he should fulfill what our desire is. And if you think about fear or unsecureness, of course you're unsecure, and if you think about sickness will catch you. Some sickness will find you if you think about sickness all the day. And this is it, so, and the last 2.5 years showed me a lot about how humans are, how degenerated they are. Even it's almost like the middle age, how they jump around and they think about things. It is not development. I don't see development of anything. It is just going backwards in time.
COVID has taught everyone a lot of some good things have come of it. Absolutely. Difficult times for a lot of people, for sure. And you have to reflect on, like you have done the last couple of years, 3 years.
Difficult times bring strong people, up strong people. And this is a good thing in it. But this is not the end of difficult times. This is the beginning of difficult times. For me, it's good because I'm strong. For you, it's good because you're strong. We have no fear. And this is the most important thing. Whatever happens, no fear. I'm ready to fight it, and I'm ready to improve because of it.
Perfect. Okay, Sifu, thank you for that. I think
thank you.
We've spoken a lot. Thank you for giving us just a snippet of your extensive background, your history, your development, and your way of becoming the Grandmaster, and obviously all of your efforts and diligence and determination in creating the IAW and moving Escrima and giving the world S.A.T and everything. So absolutely a lot of respect, and even I learned some things in this conversation which I didn't realize. So definitely food for thought for everyone listening, I think. Thank you very much for your time, and look forward to episode 2 with you.
Thank you. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much.